Okay, let's get right into it. We are looking ahead to 2026, and you know what? The digital world is basically sounding some really loud alarms. So today we're going to break down the three biggest cybersecurity threats that everyone, from CEOs to, well, us, absolutely needs to have on their radar. And just so you know, everything we're about to talk about in this explainer comes straight from a huge new report. It's the World Economic Forum's Global Cybersecurity Outlook for 2026, and they put it together with the pros over at Accenture. This is the stuff that's shaping strategy at the very highest levels. So let's make this personal for just a second. Have you, or maybe somebody you know, gotten one of those suspicious emails, or a weird text, or maybe a strange phone call trying to scam you out of your info recently? If you're nodding your head yes, well, you are definitely not alone. The report found that a massive 73% of people say that either they or someone in their circle has been hit by cyber fraud in just the last 12 months. This isn't some far-off problem, right? It is happening all around us, every single day. And you know, a huge reason this whole problem is exploding is that the tools the bad guys are using are getting way, way more powerful. And that brings us to our very first alarm bell, the AI arms race. Artificial intelligence isn't science fiction anymore. It is actively changing the game for cybersecurity, for both the good guys and the bad guys. What's really fascinating here is how the top leaders are talking about this. I mean, listen to IBM CEO Arvind Krishna. He says that defenders literally have no choice but to use AI themselves just to have a fighting chance. It's a classic arms race, but it's all happening at the incredible speed of algorithms. And the numbers? Wow, the numbers really show how urgent this is. When experts were asked, what cyber risks are growing the fastest? An incredible 87% of them pointed to AI vulnerabilities. That's growing faster than even cyber fraud or supply chain attacks. The whole threat landscape is shifting, and AI is right at the center of it all. So, what does this arms race actually look like? Well, on the attack side, criminals are using AI for things like super realistic deepfakes and automated phishing attacks on a massive scale. But on the defense side, AI is powering some really sophisticated anomaly detection and automated responses, basically fighting fire with fire. For the attackers, the big game changer has been generative AI. You know, these are the tools that can whip up incredibly convincing fake emails, fake audio, and fake documents, which makes their scams harder than ever to spot with the naked eye. But for the defenders, the key weapon is quickly becoming agentic AI. These are systems that can, on their own, detect a threat and actually do something about it, all at a speed and scale that we humans just can't keep up with. Okay, so let's move on to our second big alarm, because this all builds on itself. This isn't just about cybercriminals trying to make a buck anymore. The digital world has turned into a full-blown geopolitical battlefield. Yeah, the lines between hacking, spying, and actual state conflict are getting super blurry. Digital attacks are now a fundamental part of international relations. They're used to mess with critical infrastructure, steal national secrets, and influence events all over the globe. Cyberspace really is the new frontier for power and competition between nations. But here's the scary part. Readiness for this new reality is all over the map. Just look at these numbers. In the Middle East and North Africa, 84% of leaders feel pretty confident their nation can handle a major cyber attack. But in North America, that number plummets to just 47%. And in Latin America and the Caribbean, it's a jaw-droppingly low 13%. This huge gap in confidence really shines a light on a kind of global cyber inequity. A huge piece of this geopolitical risk comes from the fact that our IT/OT/IoT/robotic systems are all starting to merge together. So what that means is the digital systems in an office are now connected to the operational tech that runs things like power grids, factories, and our transportation systems. An attack on one can now spill over into the physical world, which makes it a really tempting target for state actors. So we've got the AI arms race, we've got a geopolitical battlefield, but our third alarm? Well, this one's coming from inside the house. There's a really dangerous disconnect between what the people at the very top are worried about and what their security teams are actually focused on. Now, this slide is fascinating, right? Just look at the split in priorities. The CEOs who are thinking about money and reputation are most worried about cyber-enabled fraud. But their security chiefs, the CISOs, they're still zeroed in on ransomware attacks. This isn't just a simple disagreement. It's a huge strategic blind spot. It means your resources might be guarding the wrong walls, while other doors are left wide open. You know, when the captain of the ship and the chief engineer are worried about two totally different icebergs, The whole ship is in danger.
And that number one concern for CEOs, cyber-enabled fraud. What does that actually look like for most of us? It's that constant stream of phishing, vishing, or smishing. Those deceptive emails, the fraudulent phone calls, the scam texts, those are the primary weapons that kick off these kinds of attacks.
And look at that. We've come full circle, right back to where we started. Remember that 73% of people affected by fraud? Well, as you can see, a whopping 62% of those cases are these exact social engineering tricks. So let's connect the dots here. The number one threat keeping CEOs up at night is the exact same threat that's flooding your personal inbox and phone. It's the same problem, from the boardroom all the way to your kitchen table. So, with all these alarms ringing like crazy, what is the way forward? I mean, what do we do? The report is really clear on this. The goal isn't just about playing defense anymore. It's about building this deep, fundamental cyber resilience. The most resilient organizations, they just do things differently. Their boards are in the loop, they're engaged. Security isn't some afterthought. It's built into the buying process from day one. They don't just blindly trust their suppliers. They actually check their security. And they run drills for a crisis, not just by themselves, but with all of their partners. And at the heart of this whole modern approach are zero trust principles. This is the big idea that you just don't automatically trust anyone or anything, whether it's inside or outside your network. Think of it like a security guard at a top secret building who checks everyone's ID every single time they walk through a door. No exceptions. You have to verify everything, every time. It's a total shift in how we think about security. Which leaves us with one last really big question. We're facing an AI-powered arms race in a digital world that's being broken apart by geopolitics. The report really hammers home that collaboration is key. But in this brand new reality, is simply collaborating going to be enough to build a future that's truly safe and resilient? If you found this explainer valuable, subscribing and hitting that like button is really the best way to support our work. It helps us keep making these complex topics clear for everyone. Thanks so much for watching.